I assume something changed in our settings. So let's just call it live. What's up, everybody? MLB Strategy Show, August 2nd, Friday slate, but not a monster Friday slate. Only 12 games, which is kind of exciting. I'm happy that it's not 14. I'm even happier that it's not 15. Adam, how was your split slates yesterday?
Neither one went great. Neither one went terribly. So can't complain. Ready to move on today. I'm 12 games instead of 15. How did you do yesterday?
I had a really solid early slate. Had a shot in the mini max, finished 10th. Late slate on DK didn't go well, but it went better on FanDuel. So ultimately, like a slightly above average day. I will take that.
Above average, meaning you lost like 10% instead of 20%?
No,
Actually,
I profited yesterday.
Oh, okay.
You know, nothing substantial or anything. No
Yeah,
bigs.
yeah.
It's a win. Plus anything is a win. It was plus something.
Yeah, I was gonna say if I lost like $200, that would be an above average day.
I've got your exposures up here from the relay throw from yesterday, along with the boss man. Not a lot of Jack Flaherty from you. What were you thinking there? Because you obviously had a ton of Cole and Fried.
Yeah, I mean, Fried I thought was clearly the best pitching play on DraftKings at that price. Garrett Cole, and having Fried, I didn't have trouble getting the Cole. So that really just kind of left me room for one mid-range pitcher. And Wojciechowski was 1,500 less. His matchup, his matchup wasn't great, but it wasn't bad. Flaherty's was pretty neutral to me too. So I just ended up with more Asher.
Gotcha. Yeah, I was surprised to see that one. And obviously Flaherty went out and smashed and was the highest scoring pitcher on the slate by a mile. So he became a necessity real quick.
Yeah.
But yeah, 60+% to Cole, 70% to Fried. Alex also pretty side. Well, not as much as you, but 51% Fried. It looked like a great spot. Got away from Kershaw though. Only 16% there. Boss was heavier on old Clayton.
Yeah, that's just a factor of Cole having a lot better strikeout stuff than Kershaw.
Yeah, for sure.
I think Alex factors matchup in more than I do, and I factor strikeouts in more than he does.
Yeah, that seems about right, given everything I've heard on deeper dives for the past month and a half.
Yeah.
Xander Bogaerts, 38 fantasy points. That'll work. Plus Vlad with the double dong day. Lots of Cody Bellinger and Will Smith. Didn't really realize the Dodgers picked it up at least a little bit as the day went on. Top lineup yesterday. I played 52 lineups, took first and second with two separate lineups. Kudos. That's a tough, and with like different stuff. A 5-man naked Rays stack won the tournament. A 5-man Astro stack with a 2-man Rays stack took second. You don't see that all that often.
No. Which tournament was that in?
The $15?
Oh, I was looking at the wrong day. Oh, never mind.
Yeah, I mean, two separate 5-man stacks for the same person winning a tournament is tough. Both had Flaherty, Fried, Zunino in both lineups. Guerrero, Alex Bregman. How much? Oh, I thought I was looking at just this guy's lineup. So I was like, oh, he had Vlad Guerrero in every single lineup. No wonder that got better. But this is just like the top 25, which obviously Vlad Guerrero became very important.
Yeah. Yeah, his bottom 5 didn't have him.
No. So there's 70 G's to Rexin Daddy. Probably not how I'm supposed to say it.
Prescription Daddy?
Probably. That makes sense. Makes more sense than whatever I just said. Oh, man. I don't have much else to say. Other boss man, Tom, finished 13th. Not that is, not that he cares that it's 13th. I'm sure he would have preferred first, but familiar names up there at the top. X-Pac with one individual lineup. I hope that's the real one. That one I'm saying correctly. That much I know. I don't know. It's just kind of like a boring main slate yesterday.
Yeah, it really was. It was just, I thought, really straightforward.
Yeah, I mean, the top stacks, these are the top primary stacks for this contest. Rays, Astros, Blue Jays, Rays, 2-man Braves stack with a 2-man Astros stack. We've got a 4-man Red Sox stack up here, a 3-2. Like, it's super different combinations, multiple different teams. You really just had to have the pieces yesterday instead of like one particular thing outside of Jack Flaherty and, for the most part, Max Fried.
Yeah, I mean, because you had the double dong from Bogarts on one team, you had a double dong from Guerrero on another team, you had a ton of points from Bregman on a third team.
Yeah.
So
Plus,
you were at a disadvantage if you had lineups that only featured two teams.
Yep. Very true. Very true.
Which is why, as an aside, and it's a point I made to one of our subs that I've been helping out with his process, but you probably want to be making sure that you're generating different types of stacks and then, narrowing down and choosing your best, because if you're only running 5-3 stacks, that just cuts you off. It cuts off your access to a lot of different things like this.
Very true. You're not going to, there are days where you need those pieces and you need a 4-3, 4-3-1 on DK or something along those lines. 3-3-2s, something.
Yep.
And this was one of those days. So I don't really have much else to say here. Just kind of like a really innocuous Thursday night. Lots to plug here, though. MLB Strategy is our promo code. You can get 50% off your first month with us if you're looking to check out Awesemo Plus and everything that we have to offer. Fantasy Cruncher add-on, projections, rankings, ownership, all of our articles. We're covering every sport. If you want to check it all out, MLB Strategy is the promo code. It's one big word. You can use that on any package you choose as long as it's monthly. And Friday, we are brought to you by Yahoo Sports. I have the article right now. This is Emacs Yahoo specific strategy article. Comes out every single Friday. If you're interested in playing at Yahoo, there's some information at the top that can help you get started. Promo code is Awesemo if you want to get up to $30 in Yahoo Sports rewards points. Coming up later today, we'll have the return of the Awesemo Odds betting show. Jordan Frank and Ben Rasa at 11:30. Immediately following this show, they're going to be talking futures in the NBA, college football, and the NFL. And then we'll have the Yahoo specific strategy show. Myself, Jake Hari, the boss man Alex Baker, just talking Yahoo at 1 p.m. Deeper dive at 5 with Adam and Laffy. Immediately rolling into same link. Doing that again. It'll be myself and Jake closing it out, taking everybody up till 7. Lots of content on Fridays. Long day, but gotta make that paper. You ready? We got a lot to talk about. I'll assume that's a yes.
I didn't hear what you said.
Oh, you were like kind of frozen there for a second. I said, "Are you ready?" And I didn't realize that you weren't reacting. That it was just like kind of stuck on the screen. I was like, "We'll take that as ready." First game up for today. I'm really excited to talk about this one. Phillies and White Sox. 5.4 run implied total for the Phils, 4.1 for the White Sox. 63% chance to win for Philadelphia. Jason Vargas going for the Phils. Ivan Nova going for the White Sox. No ownership going to Ivan Nova, but I'm going to give you two pieces of information right now. Jason Vargas has 29% expected ownership on DraftKings right now. We'll start there. That is the highest exposed pitcher of the slate. And the Chicago White Sox are currently third in aggregate ownership on DraftKings. Unpack that for me, please.
Sounds like a really fun 12-game slate, and it already makes sense to me why I had a message from Laffy at 8:45 saying this is the worst 12-game pitching slate I've ever seen. If Vargas is getting that much ownership. But yeah, I mean, the Vargas part, I guess, makes sense because he is reasonably priced. The mid-range isn't very good at all. And, Dustin May's up. The mid-range isn't very good at all. And Vargas is, whatever. So I can see getting there in a favorable matchup against the White Sox. Although they are a more potent lineup against lefties than righties. I don't really know why the White Sox are getting ownership, though. I mean, I guess it's because it lets you pay up for two aces, but that doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me.
There's not a White Sox bat over 4K in the lineup. They also have multiple at 3,000 and one at 2,700. So That fits, I guess.
Yeah, like I think Tim Anderson and Jose Abreu are really good plays, as is Eloy Jimenez. Yeah, I guess McCann's a good play. So you do have a shortstop, first base, catcher, outfielder, and then you just throw in one other guy. So I can see it, I guess.
I just find this fascinating. The idea, I get it. The White Sox strike out a lot, and they're not particularly good. Isn't Jason Vargas just sort of like the pitching version of the White Sox?
Yeah, pretty much. He's got like a 20% strikeout percentage. He normally doesn't get blown up. He normally doesn't throw great games either.
And now he's making his way to Philadelphia. Just a slightly worse hitter's park than we had in New York. 114 park factor to right-handers for home run power. Vargas's biggest problem, certainly right-handed power. I don't know what to make of this game. I kind of just want to unselect it and just walk away.
Do we have Dustin May in our ownership projections?
Yes.
Okay, because it would make no sense to me for Vargas to be to be rostered over him.
Dustin May is 1% less than Jason Vargas. I got double May than Vargas on my preliminary crunch.
Have you ever seen
whatever you just said? I don't know. It cut out.
Have you seen what Dustin May looks like? Because just now was my first time.
I did not know that is what he looked like.
It is like the love child of Justin Turner and Carrot Top and Shaun White, all rolled into one.
Yeah, it's an uncomfortable look. I'm not gonna lie. Find a good close-up picture of this character so everybody can understand. For the people that are watching along with us,
I think
he's also an incredible pitching prospect. Number one prospect for the Dodgers. Number 8 overall via FanGraphs. We've got this guy. He's that Shaun White. I like that. I like that one. That feels good. That's a lot of hair, man.
You can tell he fully embraced his looks and just went with it by growing out the hair.
I want him to braid that into cornrows or something. Fantastic. Anyway, we will certainly get to Dustin May. How much of Jason Vargas do you want if he's the most owned pitcher on the slate?
Probably not a lot.
Yeah. Would you rather have Jason Vargas in this scenario or the White Sox?
I guess Vargas.
They've called him Ginger Guard. I don't know who's. I assume that's Brett. I hope it's kind of Tom writing that in chat, but it's coming from us. That's good. That's real good. I don't know. I truly have no idea what to do in this game, but I would rather have White Sox bats than Jason Vargas. That much I know. What is the upside to playing Jason Vargas at 30% ownership today? Can he break the slate? He has a good game. Can he break the slate at 7,400?
Yes, but considering there's not a lot of other good pitching.
I don't know how true that is. Okay,
he scored.
Go ahead.
He has the 30-point game and a 42-point game in his last 10. So and a 27-point game.
I guess.
Not saying obviously that's predictive, but he's capable of it.
Which is crazy. I don't understand how he's capable of it. No matter what filters I put on, this is a guy that gives up power to everybody. Craziness. Jason Vargas. Chalk Jason Vargas on a 12-gamer. And he's not 5,400.
I just don't. As far as popular pitchers go, I can just be different with my bats. It's not like I need to make a crazy pitching play.
Sure. I don't even think anything's that crazy. Is he really all that different from Trevor Williams, Steven Matz, Perez, Alex Wood?
The matchup's a lot better.
That's for sure. Although, yeah, it is. I think this park is going to be the death knell of Jason Vargas.
That's certainly possible.
Any Ivan Nova?
No.
Didn't think so. Nor should there be, by the way. Phillies right now, 4th in ownership on DraftKings, 5th on FanDuel. White Sox are 6th on FanDuel, 3rd on DK. So lots of ownership just going to this game in general. How do you feel about the Phillies bats against Nova?
Yeah, I like him. Obviously, Park, that's good for power. You should have another left-handed bat in the lineup with the addition of Corey Dickerson. That's a good spot for him. Makes the lineup a little bit deeper too. Probably will push Real Muto down to 6th. But Real Muto will still be a good play. Harper's a really good play, and then Hoskins, Segura, Kingery are all fine. So I think Philadelphia is a really good stack, and they're pretty affordable.
Yeah, they're my number 2 right now. Anytime I can get up against Nova, that's fine by me. Perfect Park. Lineup is looking better and better now. Corey Dickerson playing the Jay Bruce role. I like it. I want to get some Philly. I mean, they're like Harper's at 19% right now. Everybody else is 12 or below. But if Harper's going to continue to be 4,400, that's going to happen. I want to get some Phillies, that's for sure. And White Sox, I get the sense that I'll be with the field. That's a tough spot for me to want to fade their ownership just because of Vargas's ownership. Like if Vargas wasn't getting any ownership, but the White Sox still were, I'd feel pretty comfortable just getting away. But you would think something breaks weird here, one way or the other. Do you have a favorite White Sox bat?
Anderson.
Okay. God, Eloy Jimenez is 3,500.
Yeah, the pricing there, as bad as the White Sox are, with Tim Anderson back and with Jimenez back, that middle of the order does have power, and in Anderson's case, speed also. It covers a couple of weak positions at shortstop and catcher. That's why I think they actually are kind of appealing outside of the fact that just the whole team's cheap. Like they do have 4 dangerous, high upside plays that are cheap and cover some weak positions.
Agreed. Anything else for this game? I mean, this is going to be the most important game on the slate, right? If the Phillies are getting this much ownership, the White Sox are getting this much ownership, and Jason Vargas is the chalk pitcher.
Yeah,
this is the spot.
Yeah, I'll have a lot of, I guess, probably all parts of it, but a lot will also be determined by ownership. Obviously, I know that getting away from chalk offenses generally is easier for me than getting away from chalk pitching. So if I had to guess, from the White Sox first, but I do see why they are strong plays, and they're pieces too. Where if I have a 5-man stack that is contrarian, to filling in with someone like Tim Anderson or Abreu or Jimenez or whatever, and getting to one-offs like that is interesting in tournaments too, because let's say Tim Anderson has a really good game and he's popular. If you have him as a one-off, you're still in a kind of interesting position because so many lineups that have him, at least as of right now, are projected to be stacks where if the team doesn't do well, but 1 or 2 guys do well, you're still kind of crossing off a lot of the teams that have him.
That was a big benefit for me yesterday with Real Muto. I was massively underweight on the Phillies, but I had them as a lot of 2-mans and one-offs, and Real Muto in particular, a lot of one-offs. So he was able to push up a bunch of lineups for me. I saw the dong happen, and I was just like, oh, shit, this is going to be bad. I opened it up, and my money jumped, and I was like, what's going on here? And then I had to filter down and be like, oh, cool, I just have Real Muto and all of my other good stuff. This is perfect.
Yeah, I'm jealous because I think on DraftKings I had 60% of my lineups were either 5-man or 4-man Philly stacks.
Really?
Yeah.
I was half the field.
Oh, yeah. No, I was pretty much all in.
Okay. That'll do it. Man,
Which,
poor Ivan Nova right now, getting no love in this game when everybody else is interesting.
It's not even like he's 5K anymore.
No. $29 on Yahoo, and he's still not interesting.
No.
All right, let's keep it moving here. Another one that I'm really excited to talk about. Yankees and Red Sox. 5.5 run implied total for the Yanks. 5 run implied total for the Red Sox. 54% chance to win for New York. James Paxton going for the Yanks. Eduardo Rodriguez going for the Red Sox. James Paxton, 34% ownership on Yahoo. 16 on FanDuel. 28 on DraftKings. The Red Sox are currently 16th in ownership on FanDuel and 19th on DraftKings. Let's start with James Paxton. How do you feel here with the Red Sox coming to town in New York?
Kind of neutral. The price tag's really fair. He obviously has really good strikeout stuff, but the matchup's also brutal. He has a 29.7% strikeout percentage, which is, I believe, the third highest on the slate. So that's appealing when you're getting him at 8,700 on DraftKings or 35 on Yahoo, and you need to roster two pitchers from the slate. But obviously, it's a tough strikeout matchup. It's a really dangerous Red Sox offense. So I'm not super confident in him.
Yeah, I when I ran my dummy crunch, I got 11% compared to the 28. I got a lot more Red Sox bats than anything else, and I'm very happy to be on Boston bats against Paxton, particularly the righties. Erod, no ownership on Yahoo, 1% on FanDuel, 1% on DraftKings. Do you anticipate getting to Erod at all?
Probably not too much. He has been really good against righties this year. He's allowed a 299 expected WOBA, 158 expected ISO. He struck out just shy of 24%, but really that cheap, and that makes it tough because it's obviously a brutal matchup.
For sure. Yankees are 20th in ownership on FanDuel, 12th on DK. As I said, Red Sox 16th and 19th. These are my number 4 and 5 teams. I just want to get all of the offense here. There's not a thing I don't like.
I wouldn't say I like either one, but I understand. Like, I think that they're good tournament stacks if that ownership holds, because you're just getting two really, really good offenses in less than good spots, but they're just really good offenses at low ownership. But I don't look at either one and think like that if I get if a huge percentage of my lineups tonight were Red Sox and Yankees, I would not be very confident in my night going well.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, I think Paxton's a great pitcher. I think Rodriguez is good.
See, I'm looking at it. I mean, I see two teams with run totals north of 5.
I see the Red Sox at 4.8.
Okay. What do you have the Yankees at?
5.4.
Okay. I have 5.5 and 5, but either way, I see guys like Xander Bogaerts at 2% ownership.
Right. I agree with you on the ownership. I'm just saying, like, it's not even close to a good spot against James Paxton. Like, this is one of the best. This is probably a top 20 pitcher in baseball. Like, I'm not confident in rostering guys against him.
No, I see what you're saying there. Those righties just scare the shit out of me.
And like, he's been running real bad against righties this year. Like, he's allowed 261 ISO to righties. He's allowed a 366 WOBA. His expected WOBA is 316. His expected ISO is 169. So his expected WOBA is 50 points lower than his actual. His expected ISO is almost 100 points lower, and he's still struck out 29.3%. So it's not like his number, or it's not like he should be as bad as his numbers either.
How have the Red Sox been against lefties from a strikeout perspective? Do you have it in front of you by any chance?
Yeah. They have, their active roster has struck out 20.6% of the time, which is 22nd highest, 107 WRC plus, 339 WOBA.
Wait, what WOBA? Oh, you said WOBA. Sorry, I heard it as ISO, and I was like, what in the world? Yeah. I was like, that's a pretty big number.
Yeah.
I expect the Red Sox to be my highest owned stack today.
Yeah, I mean, and again, I can see it for ownership reasons. I just think it fails a huge percentage of the time.
That's probably true.
I can also see it for leverage
does, but sure. What'd you say?
I can also see it for leverage reasons on DraftKings.
Yeah. Yeah, I think 2,800 for Paxton, or 28% ownership on Paxton, just, again, it just feels a little too high for me. I'm really happy about this. This is either going to go really well or really poorly. But I'm on the opposite side of a lot of ownership today. What about the Yankees against Erod?
I think the pricing is really, really nice on DraftKings. How is Aaron Judge and Aaron Hicks and Gleyber Torres $3,900 ever against anyone?
And Gio Urshela.
Yeah, I'll stick with my 3. Cameron Maybin, though, is 4,200. But Encarnacion's 4,300. If LeMahieu's back, he's cheap. This is like one of the cheapest Yankee stacks you're ever going to get.
It's kind of crazy. I don't understand it. I mean, like, if I told you at any point in time that DJ LeMahieu was the most expensive Yankees bet and Aaron Judge was 3,900, what would you assume happened? Or would you just assume that you were on a different site?
I would assume I was on a different site, or I would assume that the Orioles had a better record than the Yankees this year.
Okay. Sorry, the wife is messaging me about trying to jam the dogs in here while I'm on a show because she has a work call. Oh, God, she's the worst. Absolute worst. Favorite bat in this game?
Aaron Judge.
Yeah, it's hard to not be Judge, right?
Yeah.
Favorite Red Sox bat?
JD.
Oh, give me Xander.
Why? Position?
Position. That's pretty much it.
Yeah,
basically the same price. I'd rather get the shortstop. Not like that's an indictment on JD Martinez.
Yeah, I didn't know if you meant like you would rather have Xander all things equal, or you would rather have Xander because of his position.
No, I mean JD projects better than Xander. If we're just like if I had a utility spot, the more likely scenario is that I get JD, but I'd be happy to have both of them.
Yeah, it was splitting hairs. I just wanted to know if you thought Xander was like better than JD somehow.
Pirates and Mets. Unless you have anything else for Yanks Red Sox.
Nope.
4.4 run implied total for the Pirates, 4.6 for the Mets. It's a 52% chance to win for New York. Trevor Williams going for the Pirates. Steven Matz going for the Mets. Biggest ownership number right now is either Trevor Williams at 6% on DK or Steven Matz at 6% on Yahoo. Really not getting any ownership across the board. Do you have any interest in either guy?
I do in Matz, especially if he's not going to get any ownership. It's a good park, a much better park than Vargas has. It's a brutal strikeout matchup, no question about it. But I think Matz is a better pitcher than Vargas. They're basically the same price. If there's a huge ownership gap there, I'm fine getting overweight on Matz at the expense of some Vargas.
Okay. I don't really have too much interest here. I got to more than double the field on Trevor Williams, 14%. I don't get the sense that sticks, but and I'm not really fond of it all that much either. This actually plays really well for Matt's. Matt's biggest issue is going to be righty power, and this ballpark does not help righty power whatsoever. Could play well into Matt's skill set. Bats in this game, 14% or 14th on FanDuel, 18th on DK for the Pirates. The Mets are 10th and 6th. Do you have any interest in stacking up this game?
There are a couple things that I'm interested in here. And so you mentioned righty power against Matz, but also speed. Kevin Newman's fast. He's probably leading off. He'll run. Starling Marte, I think, is a great tournament option. He's expensive. He shouldn't have a lot of ownership because the Pirates shouldn't be popular, but he has right-handed power and he'll run every chance he gets against Matz. So those two guys stand out. Jung Oh Gong is just really cheap. And then on the other side, Trevor Williams has had some issues with left-handed power this year. Obviously not the best park for it, but you do have Conforto, Cano, and Jeff McNeil in the lineup. So any of those guys I think are reasonable. Cano is once again a great value option on DraftKings.
3,200. DraftKings has really softened pricing lately. I mean, as evidenced by the Red Sox and the Yankees and the Whites, even though the White Sox are terrible, being that cheap, starting to resemble FanDuel. I don't get the sense I'm going to have much of this game. Didn't really get to any Pirates. Didn't really get to much outside of a little bit of Mets on DraftKings. It's really not for me. There's so much offense in like the 8 o'clock games that it's a tough sell here. Favorite bat in the entire game?
Starling Marte.
Okay. Me Conforto.
I mean, Cano from a roster ability standpoint, just because he's free.
Right.
But from like if I could just build a tournament lineup and grab a really low owned guy, like Marte would be the guy that I really want.
Here we go. To your Orioles. Orioles and Blue Jays. 4.9 run implied total for the O. Actually, we probably have an actual line on this game now. We have an official starter. Still undecided. All I've seen is Sam Gaviglio, so I guess we don't have a line on this yet. Have you seen anything other than Gaviglio?
No.
Okay. We'll go I've got it with like a 10-run total coin flip game. Aaron Brooks for the Orioles, Sam Gaviglio going for the Jays. Brooks got to 6% ownership, but I don't get the sense that we're going to really want to roster anyone here other than depending on how you feel about really needing to pay down, but it doesn't seem like you need to today.
Yeah, I mean, I was going to say, like, Brooks would make some sense in that scenario, but with how many cheap bats there are, I doubt that you'll need to. He's not a guy that's going to project well raw points wise. It would just be a point per dollar play that opens up expensive bats. But I think that if you're just like manually forcing in expensive bats on this slate, there's a ton of opportunity cost because there's so many good, 4,500 or less hitters.
It all depends on how much money you need to save if you're going to Lance Lynn, I guess.
Yeah. But even then, I mean, if I Lynn plus a 7,500 guy that's like, 18, 19K at pitcher, I still only need a couple value bats and I'm fine.
Right. And then I don't think that Gaviglio is on the table. He doesn't appear to be stretched out.
Yeah, sounds right.
Yeah. I have him in for 2 innings.
And he threw 49 pitches, 3 innings his last time out. I'd guess he goes like 4.
If I move that up.
He can go 4, I should say.
Yeah, I'm always wary of putting in like a realistic number in that spot. And then I run a crunch and find out I get like 75%
right.
Gaviglio because like the price is all weird.
He's not 4K though, so
no. I just bumped him up another inning.
Aaron Brooks had some ridiculous swing and miss numbers against the Angels his last start. 14.6% swinging strike percentage, 36.7% chase percentage against the team with the lowest percentage in both of those categories. There's probably nothing to it. Just kind of stood out.
That's an interesting team to get a lot of swinging strikes against too.
Yeah. I remember watching the game and it being impressive. Let's see.
For a second, I was like, "Why in the world are you watching Aaron Brooks against the Angels?" Just didn't think about it being the Orioles because that is just really not an appeal. I mean, how many people could have possibly been watching that on purpose?
Yeah. For one, it's my favorite team, and for two, I had a lot of Angels.
Yeah.
So he dialed back his
gambling will do
usage.
it.
Yeah, he dialed back his fastball usage. Slider went up a little bit. Changeup went up a ton. That's really interesting because they're a right-handed heavy team too.
Yeah, I mean, getting swinging strikes against the Angels is hard enough. To do it when your name is Aaron Brooks is quite the feat.
So, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'll look into it more. I'm sure that there's nothing after one start that's going to make me love Aaron Brooks based on his track record. But it is interesting that he was apparently just firing changeups to right-handed hitters and getting a bunch of swings and misses.
Hey, whatever works. No ownership really going to the Orioles bats. Blue Jays are 3rd in ownership on FanDuel, 5th on DK. I would like to have some. I'm not going to go too crazy. I'm with the field right now. How do you feel about bats, either side?
I think the Blue Jays are interesting just because it's Aaron Brooks and a weak Baltimore bullpen. It's in Camden Yards. Looks like it's supposed to be around 85, 86 here. So they have power, obviously. Bichette gives them some speed too. I think they're a good stack. It's just whenever they're really popular, I get away pretty quickly just because they're not, the best hitters.
Do you think it was intentional that they ended up with Bichette, Biggio, and Guerrero?
No, like I don't. I would say yes if they were like Mike Piazza type, like favors or something. But I'm pretty sure they were all early draft picks.
I think so too. It's just crazy. There was another Bichette.
Maybe their pedigree turned up a little bit higher than the others.
They sort their players differently.
Yeah.
I'm interested in getting some Blue Jays for sure. Just it's always interesting to have bats in Baltimore. I'm surprised I'm not getting to more Orioles bats, but I guess when push comes to shove, they're just not good, and that limits it a little bit.
Well, and also, I mean, like Jonathan VR would be one that really stood out to me. But like on DraftKings, he's more expensive than Gleyber Torres. He's more expensive than Tim Anderson. He's almost as expensive as Xander Bogaerts. Anthony Santander is almost the same price as JD Martinez. He's more expensive than Aaron Judge. Trey Mancini is $1,000 more than Aaron Judge. And, that's just naming, a couple of guys. So it's really, really tough to get there.
Wow, I am ridiculously zoomed in on that page. So, Santander, huh?
Yeah.
Santander?
Santander.
Yeah. I went to Baseball Reference immediately, but they don't have like the pronunciation on there.
It's Santander.
Right. It's also Alcantara, but
it's also Alcantara.
This is fun.
You can tell who sleeps through baseball games and who doesn't.
Sleeps through baseball games? I don't even. They could play every single one of these games at 1:00. Chris Davis is $7 on Yahoo if you're looking for disappointment. Not really any other crazy price tags for anybody. It's more going the other way, like VR, as you mentioned. I don't have much else here.
Me neither.
Bingo. Keeping it going. Indians and Angels. 5.3 run implied total for the Indians. 4.2 for the Angels. 62% chance to win for Cleveland. Mike Clevenger going for the Indians. Dylan Peters going for the Angels. Clevenger, 15% owned on Yahoo, where he is $49. He is 5% owned on FanDuel, 12% on DraftKings. Dylan Peters, meanwhile, unowned. I don't get the sense that either one of us are going to be going to Dylan Peters here, but talk to me about Clevenger in like just not a great DFS matchup.
Yeah, pretty terrible DFS matchup. Really, really good strikeout stuff, no question about it, but you're still paying just because, he gives you really good strikeout stuff. But right now we have him projected at 12% on DraftKings. That's kind of like the top of where I would really want him.
Yeah.
He obviously just has the stuff to go out there and put together a dominant start against anyone, but you're paying for a ceiling essentially in this matchup, considering how tough the Angels are to strike out. So I don't know. I don't. If I don't have Clevenger, I'm not too concerned that he is the reason I can't win. And if I do have Clevenger, I'm very concerned that he is the reason it's hard for me to win.
Yeah, I got to 7% on my crunch. I'm fine with that kind of number. Like, he has the stuff to strike out anybody, but I don't think that that's a particularly likely scenario here against the Angels. So
yeah, like the easiest argument in favor of Clevenger for me, aside from just raw strikeout percentage, is the rest of the pitching on this slate sucks. Yeah. So if Clevenger does have a game where he just goes out there and dominates like he's capable of, he could very easily just distance himself from everyone.
Yep. Yeah, I definitely want to have shares, but this is not a day where I'm like, oh, Mike Clevenger's on the slate and he's under-owned.
Right.
It all makes perfect sense to me right now.
Is there a site that has him at an actual good price? 10-7 on FanDuel.
I mean, 49 on Yahoo 49. Is really not bad.
Yeah, 49 on Yahoo is nice. Where's Lynn's also 49?
Yeah, it makes it impossible then.
Yeah,
because they are not comparable today.
They are not.
Now he's not priced where you can really find anything of value. Do you have any interest in Angels bats against Clevenger?
Not really. Not on a 12-game slate. He's a really good pitcher. The Angels, obviously, they're another team where you can get there as far as they're really talented and not owned, but they're not as favorably priced as the Yankees are in a tough matchup. I think the Angels matchup is tougher than the Yankees as well. The Yankees have an implied run total nearly 2 runs higher. Yeah. It's just, I don't know if I'm taking that approach, I would have the Yankees and the Red Sox ahead of the Angels.
Yep. I'm on the same page. Like, I have the Angels as my 10th best team. They're not getting any ownership, so that's appealing in a way, but I don't think Clevenger's going to get enough. And Clevenger's biggest issue is going to be lefty power, which is basically just Ohtani and Calhoun. So I don't really see it here. Do you want to get Indians bats against Peters?
I do have some interest there, especially if Puig is still in the lineup. Yeah. He's going to be questionable for the next week probably until they finalize his suspension. But you got two right-handed power bats added to this lineup in Puig and Reyes. Reyes in particular, I really like here. But then you also still have Lindor, Mercado, Santana, Ramirez. Like, this suddenly is a very right-handed heavy lineup against left-handed pitching, where Lindor, Santana, and Ramirez are all hitting from the right side. Maybe, I don't know, is Jordan Luplow still on the roster? If he is, you would think he plays over Tyler Naquin, maybe. But yeah, I don't know. But anyway, you're going to get the top six probably right-handed with a lot of power. So I think Cleveland's in a pretty good spot.
Yeah, I have them 9th right now. They're 16th in ownership. I'll have some, but it's not like it's a spot where I'm going to get a ton. I'm happy to have any Francisco Lindor basically any day of the week.
Yeah.
But he's priced since correct.
Yeah, that is one thing. Cleveland, relative to some other offenses, are, I don't even want to say overpriced, but correctly priced, whereas others are underpriced.
Right. Like, it's hard to want to go to Cleveland when Boston and New York are so cheap.
Sure. Peters, since 2017 against righties, 19.1% strikeout percentage, 352 expected wOBA, 190 expected ISO.
Not great. No. Favorite bat in this game?
Franmil Reyes.
Puig if he's in.
Still Franmil Reyes.
Okay. Reyes over Puig, huh?
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, honestly, my answer is Franmil Reyes over Ohtani. Because of Clevenger too good in that spot?
Yeah, I just think Clevenger's really good.
Agreed.
And I also think Reyes is really good.
Fair. Braves and Reds. 4.9 run implied total for the Braves. 4.1 for the Reds. 58% chance to win for Atlanta. Kevin Gausman going for the Braves. Alex Wood, revenge narrative, going for the Reds. Gausman 20% owned on Yahoo at $32. 12% owned on FanDuel at $6,300 and 13% owned at $8,300 on DraftKings. Alex Wood getting no ownership whatsoever. Who do you like more, Kevin Gausman, Alex Wood?
Honestly, not sure. Kind of like looking into it right now, but they're so similar to me in that. So Gausman's got a mediocre matchup, a better matchup than Wood has, but he's just one of these pitchers where he disappoints so often, but like the stuff is there for him to have good starts. He just somehow doesn't. And then Wood has the tough matchup, but neither one at, I guess, so Gausman at 13%, Wood at 1. But neither one at high projected ownership. They're kind of appealing to me in tournaments, but they're just not guys that I'm like confident in or that I would want like huge shares of.
Yeah, since Wood is unowned, I got 6% in my crunch. I like that. It's a terrible matchup for him, but I'm cool with 1% owned pitchers that have, his sort of pedigree, I guess. I mean, he's had a really weird career.
Yeah, he has. I think I would give the edge to Gausman also because, not only does Gausman have the better matchup, but Wood has pitch count concerns.
Yeah, I have him in for 4.9 innings. I did get more Gausman, but I think Wood is sort of the more appealing tournament play if Gausman's just going to be owned like you would expect him to be. The $6,300 price tag for Gausman on FanDuel, I think, is kind of interesting, but he's getting that ownership as well. 12% is a lot for someone in the 6K range. Only 4 guys in double digits on FanDuel right now. Can you guess those 4?
Gausman, Lynn. Is May on FanDuel?
Yes.
Vargas?
5,800.
Okay, May and Vargas?
No, not Vargas. Vargas only at 9.
Ray?
James Paxton, 16%. That scares me on FanDuel. Braves bats, 13th in ownership on FanDuel.
Oh, wow. I didn't realize Paxton was 7,600.
Yeah. I get the price tag is very appealing there. Braves 13th on ownership on FanDuel, 15 on DK. Reds 19th and 20th. Do you anticipate getting to either offense?
Probably not too much. Probably more Braves than Reds, just because they're such a good offense. They still have right-handed power, and it's cheaper now with Duvall and Camargo. You get Albies from the good side of the plate, Acuna, Donaldson. Like it's just a really tough lineup for Alex Wood. So I think I'll get to the Braves. I don't think I'll get to a whole lot of Cincy.
Okay. I don't get the sense that I'm going to get to much. I did get a little bit of Cincinnati on this first crunch, but that's just mostly a function of Gosman's ownership. So probably won't stick around there. If this game were in Cincinnati, it'd be a different story. Favorite bat? God, I don't think I have one.
Probably Albies.
Josh Van Meter on Yahoo.
$7.
He's 9.
Gossman's swinging strike stuff. He was disappointing his last start, but his plate discipline numbers were still pretty good. 12% swinging strike percentage, 34.6% chase percentage, both below his season averages, but his season averages are ridiculously good. So
might be Donaldson for me.
I might like Gossman a lot more than I realized. I'd kind of forgotten with him being on the injured list for a month, but his underlying numbers have looked really good this year.
Only problem, this is a bad matchup, isn't it?
I don't think bad's the right word.
Bad strikeout matchup?
Yeah, it's not the best strikeout matchup.
Reds active roster, 12th in strikeout rate.
Yeah, but the actual guys in the lineup aren't going to be that high.
Votto, Winker, Peraza, Iglesias, not much from a strikeout perspective.
Yeah, Van Meter's at 21. This season. Van Meter 21.8%. Winker 16.6. Suarez 27. Votto 18.6. Senzel 27.5. Iglesias 15.2. Barnhart 26.6. Peraza 16. I don't know. Who did I miss?
Tucker Barnhart?
I think I got him. He was like 26.
This is the only name I saw when I looked.
26.6. So, I mean, it's a pretty... It's like a middle of the road strikeout matchup. But he also gets...
I thought it was worse than it was.
Yeah. It's one of those where like half the hitters are really tough to strike out, and the other ones you just have to throw a ball in the air and they'll strike out.
Perfect. Rangers and Tigers. 5.9 run implied total for the Rangers, 4 for the Tigers, 68% chance to win for Texas. Lance Lynn going for the Rangers, Tyler Alexander going for the Tigers. Lynn, 35% owned on Yahoo, 20% on FanDuel, 21 on DraftKings. I don't get the sense that you and I are going to have differing opinions here. Lance Lynn is very clearly the best pitching option of the slate.
Agreed.
I don't know what else to say. Play however much you want. I don't really care what his ownership gets to. I'll take as much as I can get. Clearly, he's expensive, 11-7 on DraftKings, but the Tigers are the worst offense in the league against righties. They K a ton. They can't hit them. I think their weighted runs created plus is like 73 or something. They're just atrocious. I can't imagine wanting to go to a different direction for a pitcher at the top end. I don't really have anything else to add to this.
Yeah, there's not a lot to add there. Lynn's been really good this season. He's got as good a matchup as it gets. On the slate, he has the 4th highest strikeout percentage behind Clevenger, Ray, and Paxton. But we've already talked about Clevenger's facing the Angels, Paxton's facing the Red Sox. Ray doesn't have the best matchup either against the Nats. And then you get, he by far has the lowest walk percentage out of that group. Second best K minus BB percentage behind Clevenger. 3.67 xFIP. He's done a good job of limiting barrels. He's just been really, really good. The Tigers are really, really bad. There's pretty a balanced lineup. The only way this would be better is if it was still the Detroit team that had like no lefties on their roster.
Yeah, and even better now that their best hitter plays in Chicago.
Yeah. I'll say I'll add a left-handed like Victor Reyes in exchange for Castellanos.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I'll add literally anybody else on the team.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, just play Lance Lynn. No-brainer. Absolute no-brainer. We're not playing Tyler Alexander, correct?
Correct.
Rangers are 4th in ownership on FanDuel. They are 10th on DraftKings. Meanwhile, the Tigers are 22nd on FanDuel and 9th on DraftKings. Mostly going to my boy Candelario, who is just $2,800. They have 4 guys in the lineup. Nope, that's wrong. 5 under 3K on DraftKings. Wow, that's bad. Oh my God.
Wait, who?
Cabrera is 2,900.
Oh,
Candelario is 2,800. Castro 29, John Hicks 25, Jordy Mercer $2,300.
Yeah, I thought we were on the Rangers, and I was just like, really?
No, they are not the same thing here. Anything here? What do you want to do with Rangers offense?
I didn't hear what you said.
What would you like to do with the Rangers offense?
I really wish they would stop facing bad lefties in Texas because I never know what to do because they're so bad. But the hitting conditions are obviously great. There is a Coors Field game to balance it out, so a lot will come down to ownership. But pretty decent price tag on Shin-Soo Choo. Elvis Andrus is too cheap. Hunter Pence might get Connor Falefa behind the plate, which would be nice, or DHing or at second. I don't know where he's playing, but you might get him in the lineup. I'll get to Texas probably more so as full stacks than one-offs, just because outside of maybe Andrus, I don't think anyone grades out as a top play at their position for me. But overall, it's just such a high-scoring opportunity for Texas against a mediocre to bad lefty in 95-degree weather in Texas with a bad bullpen trailing the starter.
I'm really surprised to see the Rangers total be this high.
Yeah, I mean, they have to look who they're going to be facing for 8 innings, like in Texas.
Sure. But it's not like they're good.
No, and that's why I wish that we would just stop getting these games.
It's hard for me to disagree there. Let me, I can never figure out the standings and stuff that I want to go to on Fangraphs. All right, Rangers offense this season. Okay, 5.3 runs per game. That's higher than I would have expected. Yeah, this is a big spot for Texas, but not getting the ownership I would have thought. 9% to Danny Santana on DraftKings is the highest exposed hitter. Multiple guys at just no ownership. I mean, I get it. That's DeShields and Kiner Falefa, not great. Willie Calhoun is $4,900. I don't think I'm going to have much of this game in general outside of Lance Lynn.
Yeah, I think a lot will just end up coming down to ownership for me. Like if people are going to go to Texas, I'll just go to Coors Field. But if people are going to go nuts on Coors Field, I'll take Texas.
Makes sense. Anything else in this game?
Nope.
Alrighty. Perfect time for everybody. Hit the like button. Help us out. We've got a bunch of people in here right now, so that would be very beneficial. Subscribe to the channel. Hit the notification bell. All of those things help us grow. Don't impact you guys at all, but it's really beneficial for us. So if you can do those things, we would greatly appreciate it. 6.1 run implied total for the Astros. 3.9 for the Mariners. 71% chance to win for Houston. Highest favorites on the slate from everything I have in here right now. Wade Miley going for the Astros. Yusei Kikuchi going for the Mariners. No ownership at all going to Kikuchi. Miley 16% on Yahoo, 9 on FanDuel, 18 on DraftKings. How do you feel about Wade Miley here? The Mariners with the highest strikeout rate in the league against lefties right now.
He's just too expensive for me on DraftKings. I wish he were like 75 in that 7,500 to 8K range. I would get there. On FanDuel, 8,500. You don't need him anyway with it being a one pitcher site. And on Yahoo, he's 41. So he's at a decent price point, but you probably still just don't really need him. He's still more expensive than May. He's more expensive than Gossman. He's more expensive than Paxton. Yeah, I don't know. It's just not a spot that I think I'll end up really getting to.
Yeah, he's got a really high floor here, I think. Because he's not much of a strikeout guy, but the Mariners are. But it's really hard to find anything that's going to damage him on the Seattle side. And he should be he's more likely than basically every other pitcher on the slate to pick up a win on FanDuel. You would think a quality start would be an incredibly likely scenario as well. I got to 21% of him. I mentioned 18 on DK right now. I get the sense that I'm just going to be around the field, but it doesn't make me excited. I don't see like a 35-point Wade Miley game going here, unless he goes the whole way.
You said you got around the field?
Yeah.
I'd be surprised if I even got there.
I wouldn't mind if I didn't. That's not something I'm stoked about. It looks really good on paper, but I don't think that in practice it's like a GPP winning play.
To me, it's the exact same thing you said about Vargas. Like, you asked if Vargas can really put up a score at 7,400 that you need in your tournament lineups. I really don't know how Miley does it at 91. Like, it's unlikely for Vargas, but he's clearly done it, in 30% of his most recent starts.
Sure.
I don't know that Miley is capable of doing it at 9,100.
I just see Miley as like so much less hittable.
As so much what?
So much less hittable with power. Vargas has to. I mean, you're getting the price discount as well, so I get what you're saying. Vargas is sort of like the $7,500 Wade Miley today.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, like Miley generally doesn't even go that deep in the games, as far as pitch count goes. So, 2 out of his last 10 starts, he's gone over 100 pitches.
Yeah. I hope I come in lower here. Might be something I need to take a look at. The problem for me was basically just all of that ownership that's going to Paxton is not going to Paxton for me because it's going to Red Sox bats.
Right, that makes sense.
So
like I'd rather get Gausman.
So I got the field on Gausman as well. But I'd be happy to get a little bit more. And we could see the lineups change a little bit. Actually, Seattle's probably won't matter all that much. He's kind of crammed in this weird spot where I don't really have much interest in Erod or Paxton just because of what they're doing and who they face. I'm already getting to Gausman, so like Miley just becomes that only other guy in that price range. So maybe it's just a case of trying to change up settings to get out of that price range. Like I might be happier not having anybody in that area.
Right. Yeah, it makes sense.
Pay up a little bit more, or even drop down to someone like Alex Wood or Martin Perez or something. I don't know. That's a tricky spot. Yeah, I agree though. I don't get the sense that Wade Miley hurts me in a GPP. Wouldn't mind having him in a cash game. No Kikuchi, correct?
No.
Yeah, thought so.
Lots of Astros.
Lots of what?
I hope.
I heard lots of something.
Oh, I said lots of Astros, I hope.
Yeah, Astros. So this one's really crazy. You're going to freak out, I think, unless you've already looked at this. The Astros are 8th in ownership right now.
I think it makes sense.
Only Alex Bregman is in double digits.
No, I mean, I think that makes sense. You have the game in Texas. You have the game in Coors. You can only roster so many outfielders.
So they are my 9th ranked team. I actually understand it all. It looks fine, but I certainly wish that I had them. Like,
right.
When I just look at it, it's like any Astros that show up, I'm cool with.
Exactly.
I don't get the sense I'm going to get a lot. Like, I barely got them here. I didn't try to make any tweaks or try to push it up or anything like that. So there is that. But I mean, the problem here is that the Astros are priced like you would expect some of these other teams to be priced.
Yeah, exactly. It's when you look, like if you just compare them to the Coors Field game, George Springer 5,300, Blackman 58, Dahl 52, Tapia 4,100. Facing Sean Anderson in Coors. Altuve's 5K, Ryan McMahon's 4,500. Alvarez is more expensive than Springer is. Brantley's 4,800. You're paying the same prices for the most part as you are for guys in Coors Field, or similar.
This is going to be an anti-optimizer play, isn't it?
Yep.
Fruit fly on the top of my microphone there. I almost really smacked the shit out of it, but I figured that would have went really poorly for everybody's ears. Yeah, I think to get to Houston, you're going to need to do some manual manipulation because of their price tags, they're just not going to come up like that. But you would expect Kikuchi to get absolutely shellacked. Do you have a favorite Astros bat?
Bregman, his price tag is just wrong.
Yeah, especially for someone that has dual eligibility of third and short.
Yeah.
It's so silly. So silly. I would like Correa more, but hitting 6th mutes him a little bit.
I'll say Correa will have 0 ownership, which is nice.
Yeah, 3% we're projecting right now.
Yeah.
I'm in for pretty much every Astros bat. I don't need a lot of Maldonado, but that should come as no surprise. Do you have any interest in Mariners bats against Wade Miley?
No.
And likewise. Nothing for me there. Keeping it going to my favorite stack of the day. The Minnesota Twins hosting the Kansas City Royals. 6.6 run implied total for the Twins, 4.4 for the Royals. 69% chance to win for Minnesota.
Nice.
Martin Perez going for the Twins. Glenn Sparkman going for the Royals. No ownership really going to anything from a pitching side here. Perez got to 4% on DraftKings. Do you have any interest in Perez against the Royals?
I have interest in Perez, yeah, especially if his ownership's going to be low. Kansas City is just not a great offense. Reasonable 4.4 implied run total, but Merrifield's good. Dozier and Soler have power out. Cuthbert strikes out. Starling is most likely a failed prospect. Cam Gallagher strikes out a ton. So does Billy Hamilton. I think that there's definitely strikeouts in this lineup. Perez not a great strikeout guy, but he's not any worse of a pitcher than other pitchers that like Jason Vargas.
Yeah.
And I think that he's one guy where if he were to come in at if he stays projected at 4% and Vargas stays at 29%, I would have no issue getting a little bit more Perez at the expense of Vargas.
Would you rather have Perez or Matt?
Perez.
Okay. And I agree with you that if Vargas is 29 and Perez is 4, the answer is pretty clearly Perez.
Yeah.
Do you know how Perez is at holding runners?
Not off the top of my head, but I can find out.
Okay. Obviously, at least slightly important here today.
Yeah, it matters, especially for Merrifield.
Yeah. Well, this whole damn team, man.
Yeah.
Fucking 9 guys that are the exact same player, except for Alex Gordon. He used to be a good runner. I don't know if he still is.
I'll say I don't know that Soler's going anywhere.
That's a good point. He's at least a good hitter.
Yeah. The top of the order is not bad.
No.
It's the top of the order.
Yeah, but Barbara Starling, Arteaga, Cam Gallagher, Billy Hamilton leaves a little bit to be desired there.
Yeah. 7 stolen bases in 111 innings this year, 2 in 85 last year, 1 in 185 the year before that.
Okay.
2017, he graded out as being well above average. He was above average last year. He's been average this year. So it's average to below average running spot.
Okay. How's Garver?
I don't know.
You usually know these things. You and Jake are usually the ones that are just like, oh yeah, these things are off the top of my head.
Yeah. No.
I'm just thinking if Perez really is at 4 and we've got this chalk in that mid range, if we can find even more reasons to like Perez, it's a better GPP nugget.
Yeah. Where's Garver does not look good. He looks better this year than last year. Yeah, so this year it looks like he's been slightly below average. Last year he was unbelievably bad. This year, his actual numbers this year are pretty good. There have been 21 attempts and 15 have been successful. Last year there were 60 attempts and 49 were successful. So for whatever reason, it looks like teams have at least cut back on running on him. He's also played 30 less games than last year, I guess.
Were the Twins any good last year?
I have no idea.
So, they project for 96 wins on FanGraphs, and they have the 3rd highest scoring offense in the league. It's possible the teams are running against them less because they just happen to be losing more. And not running into outs.
Yeah, that's entirely possible.
I don't know if that's a thing, but
it's
that makes it that
you're more likely to run, but if you're down by 4, you're not.
Right. So those pieces fit together in my head. I don't know if that's really the answer. Not that it matters. Any Glenn Sparkman for you? Flat minimum on Yahoo.
Nope.
Cool. Twins are 7th in ownership on FanDuel, 7th on DraftKings, and they are my number 1 stack today. How do you feel about the Minnesota Twins?
Not my number 1 stack, but I do like them. Sparkman doesn't get strikeouts, walks guys, just overall not very good.
Big time power to lefties.
Yeah, big time power to lefties. And sorry, doesn't walk guys. Get him and Keller mixed up. 5.2% walk percentage, 12.6% strikeout percentage, 5.54 xFIP, 2.31 home runs per 9 innings. Yeah, really good spot for Minnesota. If Coors Field weren't on the slate, they'd be my favorite stack.
Yeah, I love Kepler. I love Polanco, Eddie Rosario. I wish that Arias was a different person, but whatever.
Cruz back.
Marwin. Yeah, Nelson Cruz will hit off of anybody. I mean, I wish that Mitch Garver wasn't 5,300. But
I'd be happy if Mitch Garver just became Jason Castro today.
Sure. So would I. I'm going to have a lot of Twins. On the preliminary crunch, I got to 9% aggregate, just close to double the field. Couldn't be happier. That's where I want to be. That's my spot today. Big Twins guy. Probably going to make my home run pick from this game. Jake got a dong pick yesterday on Freddie Freeman, man. Not happy about it. I had Freddie Freeman in the chamber. I had dong pick Freddie Freeman typed out, ready to go, just waiting for them to say it on the show so I could beat Emac and Randone into the chat so they wouldn't take it. Sure as shit, took it and immediately donged.
Who'd you end up with?
I had Jesus Aguilar, who had a great DFS day, but yeah. And I added Slack chat yelled at me and wanted home run alerts back in the channel last night, but I put the barrel alerts in.
Oh God.
Yeah. So I was like, here it is. I can't wait to see the first person to freak out and find out that it's not a home run. So I'm sitting on my couch. I open my phone. I get an alert from Slack. Jake's just tagging me. I open it. The first thing I see is Jesus Aguilar's name on the barrel alert. And I was like, Goose! Wasn't a home run. I got myself with the barrel alert. I was so pumped. So pumped. Just wasn't. It was like a 370-foot single.
Yeah.
Something stupid. So frustrating. But that'll be fun to tilt people with barrel ball lineouts and stuff. Can't wait. I mean, the one that I want to put in there as home run alerts, I just can't do that. So
yeah,
barrel alerts have to be the one. The other one that you can put in there sucks. So. Any Royals bats against Perez?
Merrifield, I like. That's about it.
Okay. Favorite bat in this game?
Kepler or Rosario.
Okay.
And Dustin May's actual nickname is Ginger Guard.
Like he goes by that, or
like there's a Jeff Passan tweet saying May is nicknamed Ginger Guard.
Oh God. You might be my new favorite player. All right, we're keeping it moving. Go Twins tonight. Unless you want to take a stop in Coors. If this will probably just continue to rise. I feel like every time I type the Coors numbers in, it's a half run higher by the time I start a show. 6.6 run implied total for the Rockies, 6.4 for the Giants, 51% chance to win for Colorado. Peter Lambert going for the Rockies, Sean Anderson going for the Giants.
I already have 7.3 on the Rockies.
See, told you. Let me see. I'll change it just in case. Total is 13.5. So yeah, it's up a half run just since I typed these in this morning. Let me just update that. I don't get the sense that you or I are going to be recommending Lambert or Anderson. There are times where I'm very happy to go against the unowned, or to go with the unowned Coors pitchers, but Peter Lambert and Sean Anderson are not those guys.
No.
Once this refreshes, I'll read those numbers off again, and then we can dig into offense. Preference, Rockies or Giants?
Rockies.
Okay. So now with the update, 6.8 and 6.7 is what I have now. Rockies, chalk stack on FanDuel, number 1. They are second on DK. The Giants are second on FanDuel and first on DraftKings. So if you're not in the Phillies game and you're not in the Coors game, you're probably not playing today because that's where all of the ownership to everything is. Giants
are absolutely like some of the top cash game plays on DraftKings.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously you can get away from them in tournaments, but Brandon Belt, $4,000, just put him in. Go ahead and put in $3,500 Scooter Jeanette.
What did I miss there?
What?
When did Jeanette trade deadline?
Yeah.
Okay. I just looked at this and I was like, shit, I put the Reds lineup in the Giants spot again.
Yep, nope.
Couldn't figure that one out. That one slipped through the cracks for me. Talking garbage about Zach Greinke.
Yeah, I mean the Giants pricing is egregious.
Yeah. A lot of cash plays there. Honestly, I'm surprised Jeanette doesn't have more than 20% ownership.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about the Rockies. On DK, Blackman, Story, Dahl, Arenado, all in double digits, but just in the teens. More ownership, honestly, going to the Giants, but again, we talked about the pricing. They are not priced like they are in cores. What do you want to do with the Rockies besides just stack them up?
Yeah, like I like that the good Rockies are expensive because it at least makes it so you have to, like, they're just naturally going to lose full stack ownership to teams like the Twins and the Rangers and, you know, the Red Sox, whoever else, the Phillies. Whereas the Giants are just going to be mixed and matched with everyone because of their pricing. But I think lefties against Anderson is the priority. So you start by looking at, you know, Blackman, Dahl, Murphy, McMahon, Tapia, Story, and Arenado. I think that if the lineup the Rockies run out there cooperates and you have the 5 lefties plus Story and Arenado, it becomes a lineup that you can actually, you know, mix and match pretty easily and get to different parts of it.
Yeah, I can't imagine not wanting to have at least some pieces of the Rockies here. I find the Giants to be overowned, but they are owned, like, that's just sort of a function of price. But the Giants will be the team that I fade the most for sure. The Giants pricing
on DraftKings almost makes me want to consider Lambert, but like I still don't think I'll get there. It's just like it's such an obvious spot for the field to go to Giants bats lineups.
Yeah, I got 5% of Lambert and Anderson on that first crunch, but that's whatever. I did get half of the field on the Giants, and that is exactly where I want to be.
Yeah.
Most of the exposure that I got to the Giants are not main stacks. It's one-offs and little stuff, which, again, I'm okay with having Brandon Belt as a one-off or, you know, Buster Posey as a one-off, Scooter Jeanette as a one-off. If the other lineups that I have, like the Red Sox, like if Scooter Jeanette is getting slotted into a Red Sox stack, I'm very happy with that. Oh, do you have a favorite bat in this game?
I mean, it would, I guess, be Scooter Jeanette, but in tournaments, I think it's probably Dahl or Blackman.
I was going to say it would be Belt, but Belt is the highest owned guy in this entire spot.
Yeah, I mean, I was going to say, I think that just if we're throwing out ownership, the 2 best plays in this game are Jeanette and Belt.
Yes, agreed. Sean Anderson have issues with power?
He's allowed a 387 expected WOBA, 208 expected ISO to lefties, 334, 131 to righties.
Lefties versus Lambert. Lefties
366 expected WOBA, 191 expected ISO against lefties for Lambert.
Yeah, brutal.
And you can kind of throw expected numbers out also when you're in course. Like his numbers are just going to be worse than those.
Sure. Would you guess that you come in pretty significantly under the field on the Giants?
Probably, just because. I mean, I assume that a lot will depend on the ownership of every player in their lineup. If it ends up being, you know, that just Belt and Jeanette are popular, then I think I'll probably get to a lot of Giant stacks just by using other guys. It's always really hard for me to say based on even like the top stack tool or anything, because so much does come down to, you know, if there are 3 really popular guys on a team and everyone else is unowned, the way I grade my lineups, I'm still going to get a lot of that team because I'm still getting low owned lineups.
Agreed. Yeah, Posey at 14 right now, Brandon Crawford at 17, 8s and 9s in the rest of the spots, and then Austin Slater at just 1. Alrighty, that's probably enough for Rockies Giants. 2 games to go. Another call for you guys to hit that like button. 5.1 run implied total for the Diamondbacks, 4.4 for the Nats, 57% chance to win for Arizona. Robbie Ray going for the Diamondbacks. Joe Ross going for the Nats. Ray is at 20% ownership on Yahoo, 5 on FanDuel, and 16 on DK. Joe Ross, 9% ownership on DraftKings. What do you want to do with Robbie Ray here against the Nats?
I'm fine with getting the sum. I don't think it's a huge priority for me because it is a scary matchup. It's a tough strikeout spot too. Turner, Rendon, both difficult strikeout guys. Suzuki, if he's in the lineup, is a tough strikeout. It's just a pretty good, Nats lineup. Kendrick's a tough strikeout, assuming he's in the lineup. So it's not like it's a great spot, but it's also not like there's a ton of great pitching on the slate. Ray does have the second highest strikeout percentage at 31.6%. 3.67 xFIP is tied with Lynn for the second best on the slate behind Clevenger. So there's a lot of reason to get to Ray. It's just that it's still not a very good spot.
Yeah, I got 9%. I'd feel more comfortable picking off a couple righties bats out of the Nats than anything else in this game.
Yeah, so I got the Nats. These are their numbers against left-handed pitching since the start of last year. Rendon has an 18.4% strikeout percentage. Soto's at 20.4. Kendrick 17.4. Suzuki 14.8. Robles 17.7. Turner 13.9. Dozier 20.1. Eaton 18.8. So in their projected lineup right now, there's not a single hitter with a strikeout percentage higher than 20.4%, except for the pitcher.
Would you rather have Robbie Ray or Mike Clevenger?
I guess Clevenger, just because I think that he's better at pitching.
Agreed.
But again, it's not like a ringing endorsement.
Sure. $700 gap between the two, similar ownership. I just see the scenario where Clevenger goes crazy more than Robbie Ray goes crazy.
Yeah. The Nats against left-handed pitching have a 9.2. Their active roster has a 9.2% walk percentage, which is pretty high. And Ray, has a double-digit walk percentage on his own. So it's a spot where I could see Ray wasting a lot of pitches really quickly.
Right. Nats third and weighted. Nope, it hasn't sorted itself yet. I got really excited there. Like, Nats are third in weighted runs created plus against lefties, but it turns out it's just fourth.
Yeah, so they're up there.
Yeah, so tough spot for Robbie Ray.
I think the big difference, or one big difference though, between Ray and Clevenger too, is that Ray does get to face a pitcher.
It's very true.
Clevenger gets to face Jonathan Lucroy, who, while he may hit like a pitcher, he doesn't strike out like one.
There you go. How do you feel about Joe Ross on the opposite side, 9% ownership?
If there wasn't the Coors game and the Texas game and the Twins and the Phillies and all these other spots, I'd be pretty excited about some of the lefties here on Arizona.
Yeah, Joe Ross, not great.
Yeah.
And that might be an understatement. 12.6% K rate against lefties over the past 2 seasons. Still under 20 against righties. A 280 X ISO against right-handed hitters, which also lines up with the ISO that he has allowed. Oh boy, if this was a different team. But there's some bats for Arizona that I'm interested in. Nothing too crazy. I would have liked to get more, but it's really hard when there's 5 other offenses with 6-run implied totals.
Yeah, exactly. Like any Arizona I get, I'm happy with because Ross isn't particularly good. The Nats bullpen is better now, I guess. They did pick up 3 relievers at the deadline. So I guess have to stop just pointing out every day that they suck. But, Jake Lamb is affordable. Peralta's affordable. Escobar's price has actually come down from where it normally is. So I like Arizona. It's just, I can only roster so many teams a high percentage of the time.
Yeah, I'm with you there. Really, I like Trey Turner, I guess. How is Robbie Ray at holding runners? Any idea?
No. Probably not that bad considering how many he puts on base. If he was bad, he'd give up a lot more runs.
That's a good point. I don't really see myself getting... What'd you say?
Turner will probably still try, which is all that really matters.
Sure. I got to a little bit of Nats here. I am over the field. That's mostly because of Robbie Ray's ownership. So I'm okay with that, but it's not a terribly exciting spot to be. But I think it's worth the risk just because of some of these righty bats against Ray.
7 stolen bases in 129 innings this year, 7 in 123 last year, 8 in 162 the year before that.
Okay, so Turner won't care, but it's not really like a great spot for anybody else.
Yeah, exactly.
I like the idea of getting a little bit of Nats against Ray if Ray continues to get ownership.
Does it change your thinking that it's a revenge game for Ray?
I don't remember him being on the Nats.
He was drafted by the Nats.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I
They
don't.
traded him. They traded him to the Tigers for Scherzer.
Oh, yeah. I do remember that now. Wow. How did he end up in Arizona then?
Traded for. I wanted to say Scherzer. Maybe. I think the trade to the Tigers was for Scherzer, and then he was traded to Arizona for. I don't remember. I'm looking.
I'm hoping I beat you.
Okay, no,
I got it. Go ahead.
He was traded. Were neither of these trades for Scherzer? He was traded to the Tigers for
Doug Fister.
Yeah.
A little different.
Yeah. And he was traded to the Diamondbacks
Gregorius.
for Shane Green, and then Gregorius went to the Yankees.
Yeah.
Wow, so he wasn't. I thought for sure he was in a Scherzer trade on one end.
No, gotta load up for Doug Fister. Fister. Hardly knew her.
Ian Kroll was a prospect at the time too.
Was. I don't recognize Domingo Leyba though from that second trade.
He's still on the Diamondbacks, like AAA. He's one of their prospects now. He was up like a week ago.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Fair enough. Favorite bat in this game?
Peralta.
I don't think I have one. Brian Dozier?
Sure.
Nothing looks great.
I'd say probably like Suzuki or Peralta.
Yeah. No problem with that Suzuki call.
Yeah. $3,400 catcher on DraftKings with a 221 ISO in this split.
Final game. You ready?
Yeah, Leyba's only 23 now.
Damn. Youthful. 4.9 run implied total for the Dodgers, 3.7 for the Pods, 63% chance to win for the Dodgers. Dustin May making his MLB debut for LA. Eric Lauer going for the Padres. May, 24% owned on Yahoo, 17% on FanDuel, where he is just $5,800, and $7,600 on DraftKings, 28% expected ownership. No ownership at all going to Eric Lauer. So let's talk about Dustin May, Ginger Guard.
Yeah, so top prospect in baseball, like you said, number one prospect for the Dodgers. Teams kept trying to get him at the deadline; they wouldn't give him up, and now he's in the majors. He's thrown 79 and a third innings at Double-A this season, 27 and a third 5 starts at Triple-A. At Double-A, he had a 25.8% strikeout percentage, 6% walk percentage. One thing that really stands out, though, is he also had a 50.5% ground ball percentage. In his 5 starts at Triple-A, strikeout percentage dropped to 21.1%, walk percentage jumped to 7.9. Ground ball percentage, though, came in at 60%. So the strikeout numbers kind of uninspiring, but
Yeah.
I'm willing to still just realize how good of a prospect this guy is and assume that strikeouts will be there. He has great stuff. He's 6'6". He's
that slider
like,
projects.
Yeah. Yes. Current 55 grade on his fastball, 60 future, 60 grade on his slider, 70 future. Projects really well. Strikeouts should be there. But even if they're not there immediately, the ground ball percentage is really, really good. And that makes me feel better about rostering him too. That combined with the fact that he's not one of these, high walk guys either.
It's an interesting spot, but luckily San Diego is just downright awful against righties. So I feel a little bit better about May's tumble and strikeout rate.
Yeah, and I mean, it was only 5 starts.
Is he like, I don't know, the step up version of Mike Soroka here?
I think he's like on a different floor of the house than Mike Soroka.
Okay. I don't know. Just the strikeout rates are really really uninspiring for someone with his pedigree.
Well, but the thing you have to keep in mind is he's 21 years old.
True.
And at Double-A, the strikeouts were fine. Like, they weren't great, but
I mean, he gives up 0 power. Zilch, nada. 5 home runs in 100+ innings in Double-A and Triple-A this year. He's just not getting touched up. We'll see if the command can result in some extra strikeouts. But today, it doesn't really matter to me, especially for 5,800 on FanDuel. That price is just dumb.
Even if you wanted to say he is Mike Soroka, who also is 21, but doesn't grade quite as well as May as far as pitches and stuff goes. But even if you wanted to say that he is Soroka, I'd absolutely be rostering tons of Soroka at 7,400 or 5,800 or whatever.
Yep, agreed. Any Eric Lauer on the opposite side?
I don't really see a need.
Yeah. I don't disagree all that much. How much May do you expect to end up with? Considering he is the second most owned pitcher, 28%, but also $200 more expensive than Jason Vargas with similar ownership.
My guess is that May's my highest owned pitcher.
Okay. That is the same thing that I wrote in Spotlight Pitchers, so we are on the same page. Just looks good. How do you feel about Dodgers bats? Not really picking up much ownership here against Lauer.
Yeah, I mean, it's just there's so many other offenses that, not that you're going to ever fault anyone for going to the Dodgers in tournaments because they're one of the best offenses in baseball, and they are affordable. Lauer's kind of just a middle of the road guy, but I don't expect to get to a lot of Dodgers here because I'll probably prioritize the Rockies, the Astros, the Twins, the Rangers, at least one of the Red Sox or Yankees, probably the Phillies, all over them.
Yeah, it's a wild Dodgers team. They have 4 guys in the 3K range and someone sub 3,000.
Yeah, that's the other thing too, is I don't really, while they're cheap, just from an upside standpoint, I don't really love having Tyler White and Chris Negron.
Agreed. How do you feel about the Padres against May and that ownership?
I'd have no interest.
Really? Where do you think you would be on the Padres if Franmil Reyes was also in this lineup today?
Still not much interest.
Okay. I'll get to a little bit of Padres just because of May's ownership, but it's scary. They strike out a ton. I'm excited to see Ginger Guard. God, I got to program that into my head. I'm excited to see him.
I'm excited to see what the hell my crunches look like.
I was also pretty excited to see that this morning. I got a lot of weird stuff. Ooh, anything else in this game? Favorite hitter in the game?
Obviously Bellinger. But no, I mean, I guess AJ Pollock 3,800 really stands out. On DraftKings, on FanDuel, Pollock is 3,500. So I would say Turner on FanDuel at 3,200, Pollock on DraftKings at 3,800, and Pollock on Yahoo at 15.
Machado 4,200. I'll see you in most lineups all the time. Can't get away from that. What is it with Machado's price and Alex Bregman's price? It's like underpriced shortstop third base combo guys.
Yeah, but one of them's facing Dustin May and one of them's facing Yusei Kikuchi.
Oh yeah, I mean, I certainly prefer Alex Bregman in this spot. I'm just saying, it's weird to see these two guys who are both good be priced like they are, having dual eligibility at premium positions.
Yeah. I thought you were saying you couldn't get away from Machado. I was just like, what? Go to Tim Anderson. Go to Bregman.
I mean, I did get 10% Manny Machado, but that's not something I'm ever going to be mad about.
Right.
It's just really weird to see him and Bregman priced the way that they are. I don't have anything else. Who do you expect to be your most exposed stack today?
Probably Colorado. I normally, on slates this big, normally I end up just getting to my favorite stacks. Because it's always easy to find, even if the stack is popular, it's easy to find, secondary stacks that I can pair them with. So more often than not, I just get to the teams that I think are going to score the most.
I think mine will be the Red Sox, and I will not be upset about that, but I will be nervous about it. where I'm at. 12 up, 12 down. Now somebody's probably going to yell at me for that one. Once again, let me hit on the plugs for the rest of the day. Coming up in 27 minutes, the Awesemo Odds betting show is back. Ben Rossa and Jordan Frank talking futures across NBA, college football, and the NFL. We'll have the Yahoo specific strategy show at 1 p.m. with myself, with Jake Hari, and the boss man, Alex Baker. Be building some lineups for Yahoo. Deeper dive at 5 p.m. Eastern, Adam and Laffy, and then it'll be on the same link immediately after the deeper dive, live before lock. Myself and Jake Hari taking you up to 7:05 and closing out your Friday. Adam, anything else?
Nope.
There we go. Thank you guys for joining us. Hit the like button and subscribe to the channel on your way out the door, and we will talk to you again later.